My 94.1 is My Mornings with Jagger and Kristi and Nickelback. How you remind me, it is 7:43. Coming up on Thursday, Friday, the end of this week, the pet psychic, finally, and Samantha Khury, going to be coming and talking with us.
Going to talk to some My 94.1 listeners about their pet problems. People have been calling in for the last week and a half with them, and it's going to be interesting. Now, I got a phone call from this woman the other day, Nancy. Nancy, are you there?
Hey, Nancy, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good.
Now, you were telling me about Samantha Khury and how you have used her with your pets in the past.
Oh, yes.
So tell me what happened.
Well, we had a Jack Russell Terrier for over 14 years, and about after he was 4 or 5 years old, we kept noticing, my husband especially caught on to it, that whenever there was a loud screeching noise, like somebody hit their brakes outside, or we had loud rock music on once in a while, he would spin around and check the end of his tail, the tip of his tail.
Just to make sure it was there?
What was this little guy's name?
His name was James.
James?
Mm-hmm.
So James heard noises and had to make sure his tail was still there?
Yep. And he would have this anguished look on his face, and we thought, oh, well, it's, how cute, he's spinning in a circle. And it was no big deal.
Right.
Fine. And we'd take him to vets, a number of vets, and we had good vets we really liked. We had lived in 2 different states and gone to several vets, and everything always came out that his checkups were fine, he's fine, no problem. But my husband kept noticing that as time went on, James was having more of an anguished look, and we didn't know what was going on, so I happened to talk to a friend one day, and I said, I'd really like to know what's happening with him. And she said, well, I know a woman who's hosting an animal communicator in our town. This lady, her name is Samantha Khury, she's flying in from out of town, or from out of state, and she's going to be doing sessions with people and their animals.
So you took James to Samantha?
That's right.
But now, Nancy, you probably like me, you first went, well, an animal communicator. You know what, I'll go, but I don't really think this is going to help.
Well, I was open, and I'll tell you why, because I had a friend years ago. I happened to spend some time for a while in the Dakotas, and I was there just for a year, but I met a woman I became fast friends with, and ever since she was a little girl, she grew up on a ranch with her mom and her brother.
And was she able to communicate with pets?
Yes, and I'm telling you, if anybody's ever been around cattle, you know that you don't get around bulls much.
Kristi, you're from Milwaukee. You've been around cattle a lot, haven't you?
I'm not.
A lot of cattle in Milwaukee.
Well, you know what? Wisconsin is just like California. If you drive out a little ways, you hit a farm.
So tell me what was the problem with your dog?
Yeah, what happened with James?
All right, well, and just to finish briefly, my friend in South Dakota had 3 pet bulls that followed her around like kittens. Nobody ever could do that. Nobody.
Oh.
So that was my first introduction to anybody who could communicate with animals.
Right.
Wow.
When the vets had problems, they brought the animals, the sick, the lame, the newly born that had problems, they would bring them to her. So that was an introduction, but still I didn't quite get it. And then when we finally had our hearts were just worried about our dog.
Right, absolutely.
We took him to Samantha, and we went to the woman's home that was hosting Samantha in the area, and she says, okay, well, let me have, so much time with him and come back when the hour is over. So it's interesting because he would never let anybody pick him up except myself, my husband, and one other family member. Otherwise, he was kind to everybody, but it's like, stay away, don't pick me up.
And he let Samantha pick him up?
Oh, instantly.
Wow, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So what did she say that she sensed from him?
What she found out was that she got in tune with him. She stayed open and received his impressions, and he gave her the impression that when he was 3 days old, that's when they docked his tail.
Oh.
For poodles and boxers and all these other dogs and Jack Russells, we like to cut tails because we think it looks good.
Oh.
And what they had done is James gave her the impression of a man who had picked him up and held him firmly and then used a circular cutting tool.
Oh, my God.
Kidding.
You give me the chills.
Yeah, me too. Every time I think about it.
They don't put the pets to sleep when they do that?
No.
Oh.
No, the idea is babies don't feel things.
You're right.
And anyone who's worked with human babies, they know that's not the truth either. Babies feel everything.
Well, so poor Samantha.
So she picked up what happened is that tool, there was loud noise in the background at the same time, and plus the sound of the tool. And when they cut the tail, they did nerve damage. It ripped the nerve, and it shot pain down his tail.
So he associated the sound of a loud noise
Right.
with
Yeah.
the pain of his tail getting cut off. That's awful. So then Samantha worked him through this?
Yes, a great deal. And what she found, too, is the pain had gone up partway up his back, past the root of the tail, and down the back of his left leg.
Aww.
So, all those years, when we had him, because we had him when he was since he was 8 weeks old, he had been in descending and ascending waves of pain the whole time.
Oh, man.
And it never been picked up.
So, but now after Samantha talked to him, then she said it's going to be okay. Nobody's going to cut your tail anymore, and then
Yes, and it made a big difference.
He's better today. He's better today then?
Well, we had him for about 14 and a half years, and he finally passed.
Oh, but that's a good long life.
Yes, and
for a little dog.
We worked with her several times with him, and including just before he died. It was the best thing ever.
Aww. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for sharing your story about James.
You're welcome. And I'll tell you one thing I learned the most from her. We took a class with her 3 years ago when she was in the North County area, and two of our friends did too. And people can't say enough about her because she is so deep and so in tune with the person as well as the animal.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People are just so connected to their pets and stuff. So Samantha is going to be in at the end of the week. We still have one spot left open for a My Listener.
And you know what? She's going to be doing one of those one-day problem work-solving shops here right in San Diego, June 29th, which is Saturday. So all the information is up on our website if you want to go and maybe take your animal. And, maybe your animal's got a problem like this, you know?
Call us on the My Studio lines at 570-1941. You got a pet problem. 750 now, My 94.1. Are you paying more? Is going to be here working on some My Listeners pets. Now, the way it works is she will be talking to the pets today, and then tomorrow, what happens?
Well, tomorrow she's going to come in, and we're all going to sit around here in the radio studio, and we're going to talk, and we're going to find out exactly what happened with Cheryl and Bandit and with Paula and Dottie. We heard their stories this morning, and Bandit, an older dog, a 16-year-old dog, Cheryl getting ready to make a move, and Bandit's got some ailments, and, vets have told her maybe it's time to put Bandit down, and she just can't make the call, and she wants to know how much pain Bandit is in, and if Bandit is willing to make this move. And Paula, the one that took Dottie, who is a kind of a tournament dog, to the rattlesnake.
Very alpha type dog.
Put him through the rattlesnake training where they teach the dogs how to avoid rattlesnakes. Many dogs' lives have been saved. Unfortunately, Dottie really was affected by this and hasn't really regained her same spirit.
So Samantha Khury is going to be talking to them today, and then tomorrow we'll get the results. Now, Samantha Khury is a huge celebrity, works with the San Diego Zoo, the Wild Animal Park. She did the two dogs in Magnum P.I., those Doberman Pinscher guys.
Yeah.
I remember seeing them. She also did Diane Sawyer's dog, George.
She did.
TV
And
show Turning Point.
If you want to find out more about Samantha, you go ahead and go to her website. It's www.samanthakhury.com. We have that information up on our website, too, for you. And check out what's going on. Samantha's going to be doing a one-day problem-solving workshop here in town on Saturday. All the information is up there. And then on Sunday, she's going to be doing a problem-solving workshop for horses. So if you've got a bigger animal, horse, and can't get it to do the right thing, Samantha can definitely help you out. She's got a lot of experience.
So that's going to be that's all information on our website at www.my941.com. And Samantha going to be in the studio tomorrow helping out all the pets. 9:24 now at My94. And she finally made it down.
Hi, Samantha.
How are you?
I'm fine, but man, on the road. On the road again.
Well, you came down from Vista, right?
Yeah, I came down from Vista, but last night I drove from L.A. So, and I'm not used to the traffic.
Lots of traffic down here.
Yeah,
I
forgot, this is where I raised my kids, and I forgot your freeways are bigger now.
Right.
Yes, they are.
And you have more traffic.
We do.
My son's 40, be 41 in a month. And so we're talking quite a long time ago.
Yeah. So things have changed a little bit, huh?
A lot.
But you work with the zoo down here in the Wild Animal Park, so you get down every now and then, don't you?
I haven't worked with them for a while.
Yeah.
But when I lived down here, I worked with them a lot.
I just put two and two together like 3 days ago. I saw you on the Diane Sawyer show.
Yep.
On Turning Point.
Yep.
That was, how many years ago was that? It was like 5 or 6?
Oh, at least 5 or 6
I remember
years ago.
crying.
Yeah.
I remember that show, and I remember just being, it was one of those things where, just surfing the TV, and I came across that, and I just got sucked in, and I could not leave, and it was just the most amazing thing. I don't even remember George was the dog, right?
George.
What was the problem with George? I can't remember
now. George was like really needy.
Right.
You know, for an Irish setter, to have an Irish setter just want to cling to your body, it's a real intense thing. You know, you can have a cat climb up you, but your dog.
Right, exactly.
So, and that one was a real hard one for me because, as I said here, I just need a quiet space because I have to quiet my mind and my emotions and my nervous system to really pick up really in-depth information. And so there, the cameras are going. My nervous system is radical. Yeah. You know, I get really nervous doing that kind of stuff, especially with TV cameras and light poles
and people hanging around.
I feel like you're just put on the spot.
Yeah, and they wanted me to do it in 15 minutes. You know, so because this is a whole different thing. You know?
This is a process, isn't it?
It is. It's a big process, and to think this is what's awesome. No time in our history. This is a new millennium. No time in our history will there not be interspecies communication. You are at the beginning.
Wow.
Of seeing the birth of this.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, we have Cheryl is in here with her dog Bandit, and Samantha wasn't in the room 10 minutes, and already she's talking about he's telling me about fruit trees, and Cheryl's like, well, yeah, there's fruit trees. That the bushes. I was getting like goosebumps. That is amazing. Well, and you just see pictures, right? It's not a thing of words or hearing a dog's voice, but you're seeing pictures.
I see pictures, and I have feelings and sensory stuff. It's kind of a spherical information that comes in, and my brain is like a computer. You put all that information in, and then it comes out in a tangible slot through my mouth. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, that's what that means, and I've learned how to say it. Of what I see, sense, and feel.
What a very cool gift that must be. Is it ever a problem? Do you ever just...
It was a huge problem as a child because I used to pray. No, I didn't know that I was talking to them. I just always did the right thing, and I needed to be with them.
Right.
Where it was a problem for me is because I was so right brain, I couldn't read. I couldn't do mathematics.
Really?
My short-term memory sucks. It still does, but that's okay.
Well, at what point in your life did you realize that this is truly a gift?
In my early 30s. In my 30s is when it hit me in it.
And you finally said, I'm not going against this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just going to live this life.
Yep. And I started really researching it. Because up to that point, I didn't know, how do I do this?
Right. It's not like there's a ton of them and you can study it in college and follow someone else's path.
Or you can even go up to somebody and say, I'm having these funny flashes and the animals are responding. And
and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
You're not carrying anything sharp, are you?
Yeah.
You have no loaded weapons with you, do you?
And on top of it all, when my kids were going to school here, it was through the kids sneaking their animals to see me in Escondido and San Diego.
Wow.
I love you people out there. It was through them sneaking their animals to see me, and then I would help the animal make the change, and then they'd go home. They did not tell their parents.
They did.
Because if they told their parents at that time, I won't take you can't take the dog to see a lady in Escondido that says she talks to the animals.
So really, animal communicator really wasn't a coined phrase then, and so it was more like the kooky woman from Escondido.
Yeah, actually, I did a lot of stuff on Channel 10 News.
Wow,
right.
And I was still the woo-woo person.
Yeah.
but they were always surprised.
Well, we're glad it's 2002 and things are moving forward, and there is such a thing as animal communication because you've helped so many owners and their pets. Yeah. And we hope that you can help some of the My 94.1 listeners. And we're truly honored that you're here with us today. We really are.
Thank you so much for coming. And I want to talk about the workshop that you've got coming up on Saturday. It's a one-day workshop. That's Saturday. No, tomorrow's Friday.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Tomorrow, it's coming up on Saturday.
I have no idea what
and if you want to go, let me give you a number. To sign up, I'll give you the number. And if you miss it, you can always call us here. It's 310-374-6812.
And give Sheila's number, too.
Okay, and Sheila's number is 760-941-9912.
Now, we have this stuff posted on our website, too. So if you just want to go to 941.com, you'll see it all up under there, and you can write it down and make the call. And tell everybody what the one-day problem work solving
is. This was designed specifically because I'm doing a lot of work with the humane societies. And man, there are a lot of animals being dropped off because of some little problem that could be fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you got a barking dog when you go to work, and the neighbor starts complaining.
And you see that when you go to the shelters and the centers, and you see, well, Julia, she's 2 years old, but this is her problem. And
and or they are aggressive or extremely fearful, or you're moving. You're moving, aren't you? Yeah, I can feel the dog's like.
See how we. Okay, that's
the dogs. Yeah, you should have the dog help you. This is going to sound strange, guys, but check the boxes before you move so he feels like you're going with him. Okay, because there's something about that. He's got some real issues on this, real concerns. So I'll find out what's going on. Okay, is this a long move or a short move? Oh, have him look at the boxes for bugs, so you don't take your bugs with you.
Leave the bugs in the old house.
I'll talk to him about doing that. Okay, so he's included. It'll change a lot of the hair. Okay.
And isn't Bandit?
Bandit is a beautiful, beautiful dog too. He's
a teddy bear.
Handsome dog.
Yeah. And so now anybody with a pet who wants to come, all they have to do is just call the number or look on our website and get the information.
Yeah, and you'd bring a photograph. The one problem you want changed. It's like having a private with me, but you're going to also learn the techniques. Right. And you're going to learn specifically what you've been doing wrong and how to do it right, because most people are giving visions and emotions to their animals that says, I really want you to bark, or I want you to chew up the pillow. For instance, they're leaving the house and they go, oh gosh, I hope you don't chew that pillow up. And the vision you see and the emotions you have is chew that pillow to blazes.
Man, does it happen.
It does.
Yeah,
so, maybe you can give me an example that would help us out, because our little 2-year-old Himalayan Casey right now is having to take some antibiotics. She had a little abscess in her mouth that we had fixed the other day. And so she's, I think she kind of knows the word medicine, but she just writhes when we try to give it to her. So what picture should I be giving her about giving her the medicine?
Okay, first off, how do you give the medicine?
Little syringe
that we shoot into her mouth.
Okay, I would do, cats love butter. I mean, the real stuff. I would give her a vision. First off, I put a little butter on the tip of the syringe, squirt it in, and then give her a vision of having a little bit of butter, because she's so good taking her medicine.
Ooh, butter as a reward.
Yeah.
And anytime people have
put it together, medicine, butter together.
Medicine, butter, medicine.
There you go.
Okay, I'll try
because
it.
then that will she'll solicit it. It won't be such a terrible thing.
And then she won't resist us so much. Yeah.
And then give her, set her in one place and just tip the head a little bit, put it on the side, give her some pats, give her the butter, have the butter on it, and then really praise her. You're so good at taking your medicine. Your mouth's getting all better.
Don't you want some more?
Yeah,
So she's like, well, then why don't you take it? It's so good. All right, well, listen.
I have.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, listen, we're going to let you go because you want to get started and get your room set up.
And everything.
Be listening tomorrow, because Samantha will be back with the pet owners, and we'll find out exactly what happened. And that should be just, I can't wait to hear that tomorrow. Thanks for coming by. Thanks so much.
Okay.
It's 9:47 now at My 94.1. Yesterday, talked with Cheryl and her dog Dottie. Also Paula and her dog Dottie, and Cheryl and her dog Bandit.
We were all pretty astounded by what happened. I mean, pet psychic, okay, she gets the image. Well, I think the easiest way to understand this is by calling her an animal communicator.
Exactly.
Instead of a pet psychic. Because it's a combination of kind of the behavioral study of animals and their owners that she's done over 30 years. And it's also the fact that she does receive visual images from the pets.
Exactly. And the thing with Cheryl and Bandit was that it was a very emotional meeting, because Cheryl wanted to know, Bandit's getting older, Cheryl wanted to know if Bandit was ready to move on, but she thought maybe Bandit didn't move on because he wanted to protect the family. And
Bandit is a 16-year-old dog.
So we won't tell you exactly what the outcome of that is until after 8 o'clock when they all come in here. But this is a piece of the interview between Cheryl, Bandit, and Samantha. And Cheryl also brought in her son, Jeff. And this is Bandit telling Samantha about Jeff and his sister.
Then this was about the girl. He says one of the girls is smaller. The smaller girl, and I think he was also meaning the youngest, is very expressive, has to move dramatic all the time, like dance and walk, not just walk.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. She's like our little ballerina. She's our prima donna. It's so funny.
And this is where he says about Jeff as the thinker, that he is the animal person. He wants to fix things. His mind, he can fix everything, he says. And he's so emotionally close to you. He talks about the kids' room. He says that the girls have to go to the right side and Jeff goes to the left, more towards the back corner.
Wow, that's exactly our home. The girls go to the right. They have their room, and then he goes around to the left and goes back to his room.
Yeah.
Exactly, in the backyard.
Yeah.
That is Bandit telling Samantha the layout of their house. Now,
Weird.
Samantha's
Okay, that's weird.
never been to the house, knows nothing about the house, didn't even know if it had more than one bedroom. She has no idea.
Now, Len, our producer this week, not really a believer in the beginning, were you?
No, not at all. I was looking for the strings. I was looking for the mirrors.
Yeah, you were waiting
Yes.
for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
And so after you're in there on this session, micing them for this whole thing.
Right.
And what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that there was just one after the other example of how did that happen? How did that? There's no way unless she was really communicating with the dog. And so
No way we would know that
there's
stuff.
no way she would know that stuff.
Well, you know the information that we knew.
Right.
I mean, really what we knew and what we were privy to about the situation with Bandit and Cheryl was pretty much what we had aired. We
Right.
knew no more than that.
Yeah.
And so Samantha surely didn't know any of this
No,
stuff.
the pet owners didn't say all that much.
And
so-
why would you even think to even bring into the situation what direction bedrooms are?
I know.
Yeah, and you know what
That's
it
so
was?
random.
What was really cool is the stuff you could tell was pet stuff. It was dog stuff, like the directions of where the kids' rooms are. That's important to the dog. I mean,
Right.
he walks the carpet. He knows
Yeah, exactly.
the girls are there
Yeah.
and the guys are over there, and he knows that that one's the dancer. It was dog stuff.
Well, the thing about Bandit was that Cheryl wanted to know if Bandit he's 16 years old, wanted to know if he should be put to sleep. So we'll get the answer to that question a little after 8 o'clock this morning. Very emotional with Samantha Khury, the pet psychic. That is coming up.
My traffic.
And Curry is holding a one-day problem-solving workshop tomorrow in Vista. So if you want to go to that, if you'd like to take your pet in, maybe you got a problem going on with your pet, just go to our website at www.my941.com, and all the information is up there on how you can go to this seminar tomorrow.
All right, 17 minutes after 7 o'clock, and Mark Sanchez will look up. Pet psychic will begin. One of the situations yesterday was Cheryl and Bandit. Bandit, 16 years old, cataracts, getting on in age. Cheryl wanted to talk to Samantha, see if Bandit was ready, to move on.
Right.
She didn't know if she was being, selfish by keeping Bandit around.
Well, and not only that, but she's got a move coming up, and she just worries about Bandit making this move.
So we'll
it's hard for a dog at that age to make a move.
So we'll get the answer to that coming up in about 10 minutes with Samantha Khury, the pet psychic, on the way. We've been talking about the play. Mornings with Jagger and Kristi, 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. That is Vanessa Carlton and 1,000 Miles. Is Samantha Khury, the pet psychic, going to be in? She is here. Samantha, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Hi, Samantha. How was your ride in?
Interesting. I
Yes.
did the Pledge Allegiance with you guys,
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
felt like, whoa.
Good.
Did you shout it out?
I shouted it out, and I was like hoping everybody else on the freeway was doing the same, This is really cool.
Kind of feels good to say it again.
It does.
It's been a long time.
All right, and Cheryl is also here. Cheryl has Bandit. Cheryl, how you doing?
Good morning. Fine.
And before we get off the pledge thing, your son Jeff, I just found out, apparently he's just very upset about this whole pledge thing, isn't
Very
he?
upset about this.
Now, how old is Jeff?
He's be 12 soon.
Yeah. And so, you're beeping there. That's Jeff calling right now.
Jeff's like, Mom, hi.
So Jeff thinks that it should keep it the way it is.
Yes, he does. This is all he's known. He's very angry about this.
He's angry.
He is. He doesn't want this to happen. He doesn't understand how it can be taken away because
Yeah.
he believes.
Right.
And it's a uniting thing, too.
So, and that's another part I didn't really think of. I mean, kids are thinking, well, how can someone take this away? How could someone in this country take something I thought that was about this country away? So that is kind of scary.
Well, I think even when you look at not only this little teeny tiny right taken away,
Right.
that we're in a war, and then we get our thoughts diverted, and then another little right gets taken away, and another little right, and then all of a sudden we're in a country, in a state, in a world that we can't do the normal things. And we've got to really look at what rights are being subtly changed, what laws are being subtly changed right now.
Because it adds up after a while.
It more than adds up. It's dangerous.
Samantha, I'm going to ask you, what do you think the pets think about it?
I don't know. I never sat down and had a philosophical
You should.
talk with them.
Next
She's
time,
gotta
you should
talk
do that.
to 'em.
You should talk to the pets, see what they think about the Pledge of Allegiance. Because I bet they say it. Why wouldn't they? I bet they do say it.
Their mind is like mine. Well, I should say my mind is quite like the animal kingdom. It's quiet usually.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't really grasp those kinds of concepts.
I want a quiet mind.
Yeah, I know.
I wish my mind was quiet like the animal kingdom.
My mind is usually quiet. My mind's quiet right now.
They're more in the moment. They're much more in the moment.
Well, let's talk about Cheryl and Bandit. Now, when you first called us, Cheryl, the question was that Bandit. How old is Bandit? 16.
He's 16.
16, and kind of gets up in the morning and kind of slow to get up.
Slow.
But gets a little better in the afternoon. And cataracts.
Cataracts I was worried about, and his hearing I was worried about because I caught him in these times of not knowing where I was or who, just a stunned look. And
had some tumors.
He's got some tumors, and he's slow moving, and I was wondering about the pain and how much he was in pain.
And you're about to make a big move.
Making a big move, and I didn't want him to get hurt.
So your big question was,
would it be I didn't want to go too fast. I don't want to suffer through the pain any longer, or how much pain was he really in? Is it time, or would he be receptive to the move, or just what's going on with him, basically?
So Samantha, tell us what Bandit told you.
Well, first off, he started talking about how well he can hear, and
love that.
About that he can see, and that he can still sense things, and that he has problems getting up more and getting down more than just straight walking. And so he was telling me all the things of this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, first. And then he started to talk about the level, what discomfort he had, and got very clear on it. And then he talked about having these, I'm going to call them senior moments.
Sure, he's 16 years old. He can have those.
Yeah, and it's kind of good information, especially for the veterinarians and for later on. It's like he gets a strange kind of a headache. And then when that happens about a day or so before, then it's like he's getting ready for like a seizure, and he gets a little scared about falling over. And then his brain literally kind of goes blank. And it's like you don't know where you are. It's like Alzheimer's. And so he just doesn't, it just goes kind of quiet.
So out of all the things that you found out from him, what do you think he feels is his biggest health problem?
Just getting up and getting down, really and truly. And the rest of it is just, you live with it.
And Bandit is just a huge, cuddly teddy bear, and he's just an awesome dog.
Big, lovable dog.
Brilliant.
So, Cheryl, you just got to tell me, what did Samantha say about Bandit?
Oh, it was very enlightening, very relieving, and
so is Bandit going to stay with us?
Oh yeah, he's here, and not only that, he's going to help us.
He is. How is he going to help you?
My children have been wanting a puppy, and I was wondering if that was also too much for him because of the pain and his old age and whatnot. And actually, Bandit, it was amazing.
Towards the end, Bandit starts to tell me that he can train the dog to stay on these like towels or blankets in these certain areas in the house, that he could train the dog to do this. So he's telling me about that he could have a friend, because I had asked him, could you have a friend? Would you like to have a friend? Now also in my communication with him, which I felt was really important, was find out the level of discomfort. And so there's things that you can do to help with that level.
Right.
And things to do with a veterinarian that will prolong his life and make the quality of life really good. And he's not ready. Man, this guy is not ready to go.
So basically that is what you found out from Bandit. Bandit is not saying, okay, I'm done, I'm toast, I'm over.
So Cheryl, how do you feel better now?
Oh, we were so excited. We had a Bandit party last night.
Did you really?
We really did. There were 6 kids in the house, and they were just, Bandit, you're great, you're doing fine, you're going to be okay, you're going to let us have a puppy, oh, you're going to teach him this, oh, you're so cool, you're so great.
Well, now let's just go back to this blanket thing for a moment, because I thought this was most bizarre. Now, you have this situation with Bandit, and Bandit lays on certain blankets that you have placed around your home.
Tell us about that.
We have wood floors, And so he has sleeping areas.
Okay.
And so at the foot of the couch, there's a blanket right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the bedroom, there's a blanket in Jeffrey's room. And there's a rug in the girls' room. So everywhere he goes, he has these little spots that he can rest on comfortably for his hips.
Now, you did not tell Samantha about this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Bandit told you
that he could train him. That he could train him. The flash was, I got these flashes of these, like, different colored little towels, like, or rugs, or
right.
You know, there was obviously something soft on the ground, on the floor, and he gave me this flash that he goes and lays down, and he could train the dog to do that. Go and stay in these particular places. These are your places to stay inside the house.
So Bandit always been your protector, your doer, and now he's going to continue in his old age to do and help train another dog
and
to take his place.
So much to teach another dog. He's a brilliant dog. So
this worked out good.
I know, this was just wonderful because it's answered prayers that we were wondering if it's time or not.
Right.
And now he's still willing to help and wanting to. And I guess he told her that
with the kids,
he's very involved with the children.
Yeah.
And that he told her that there would be no problems with the new house. And I was concerned about the new house. Oh, and did you hear about the block wall?
No.
The brick wall.
The brick wall,
in
okay.
The front.
And he asked her
about her house.
I know, you know more about it than she does.
The brick wall, if our new house would have a brick wall in the front, because we have an elevated brick wall, and it has these terrible, terrible little steps that he has to go up.
Oh, and he doesn't like those.
He's like, okay, is there a brick wall at the new house?
He also added that the front of your house was a lot nicer looking than the back of your house.
It's so true. It's funny.
Well, that is such great news. And you know what? When you called Cheryl, we could hear it in your voice. And people go through it all the time when you have older pets. You just don't know. You don't know, and you're looking for any kind of a sign.
And so do you feel like in the position that you're in making this big move that this has enlightened you and given you some direction?
I'm excited instead of worried and depressed and what am I going to do? I'm happy. I'm elated. I'm excited. The kids we're on fire now. Like our dog's doing great and he's going to help us and he's excited and he's okay and he knows he's coming to the house and I was worried about all that, so we're really relieved and we're very happy.
And it'll probably make the transition easier for him.
Oh yes,
that he knows
we're so thankful
that you're
for this opportunity because I mean, to go on wandering for so long, we're just really happy. Thank you.
Plus Bandit picked up your thoughts also, your worry and what's going to happen to me. And so that's why when he started out was saying, well, this is healthy, this is healthy, this is healthy, this is healthy.
That. The checklist.
So, yeah.
You know?
I can still function, guys.
So you get to keep your best friend.
Yes, and I'm very careful now with the visions I give him.
There you go. Exactly. You've got to be. And you know, he can hear you talk, too, now.
I know. Oh, you should have seen the conversations between the 6 kids and him last night.
All right. Samantha Khury, the pet psychic, and that was her help with the Bandit. Now, coming up, we have Paula and Dottie. Dottie, the little Jack Russell Terrier that had a little frightening experience with the snake training.
Yes, and I think, you know, this situation has rattled a lot of people. Pardon the pun. But, you know, the Jack Russell Terrier, Dottie, went through rattlesnake training and had a traumatic experience. So we've got the results coming up for that next.
828, look at traffic on the way at My 94. Hanging by a moment. As you can see, the sunshine coming out today. It is going to be gorgeous. Here, the pet psychic, and she's going to be telling us what happened with Dottie and Paula yesterday. But we just got a phone call that we kind of wanted to take. We kind of sprung this on Samantha, but we just got a phone call. And is okay we take it, Samantha?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is
Pena.
Pena, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
And so you wanted to ask Samantha a couple of questions about your cat.
I do. This is hard for me because I'm trying not to cry.
That's okay. It's very tough.
Take it easy. Take a deep breath and try to explain your situation.
My cat, Koozle, he was 15. He had kidney disorder that was getting worse, and he had bone spurs on his hips. He was getting to the point where he wouldn't eat very much, and when I pick him up, he'd cry. So I thought it was time to let him go. But when I took him into the doctor, he fought really hard for his life. And I have this overwhelming sense of guilt that he wasn't ready.
Sweetie, what he was frightened of.
And then I did it too soon. That he wasn't ready to go.
Sweetie, this is what I pick up. And I've got to sniffle through this. I don't think you did it too soon. What he was frightened of and what he was struggling is the vet's office. not the fact of the process of helping him leave his body without pain. When you have an animal that has kidney failure and major problems in that, and bone spurs are unbelievably painful. So an animal's indication that they're ready to go is when they stop eating and they don't want to be picked up, and they want to go usually in a dark place or under a bed or someplace where they're not messed with, and they're then telling you, I'm getting ready, I'm tired. And so I want you to, in your dream tonight, I want you to do a little prayer and ask your soul and your personality to take you where he is. And ask that in a dream state that you get to visit him. And then ask to remember what happened. Okay, and I'll do a little prayer with you tonight. And with him, I'll tune in with him.
So he's okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's okay. You know, what happens is we usually are left with the trauma and what we feel is off or whatever it is. So think in terms of him as being an incredible teacher, number one. And that next time, you'll see if there's a vet or somebody that can come to the house and you just won't do it. Or when you talk to other people, then you tell them, you know, my cat was really, really scared about the vet, and it was too stressful on all of us. So next time, call. There's a lot of vets that will come out to the house, and maybe even there'll be eventually a service that will really do that and just specialize in that field.
Yeah, it was the most traumatic thing I've ever been through.
It is for all of us. Making the decision, but it doesn't have to be, okay? So you just give yourself a big cuddle and then light a candle for him, do a prayer, and if you still feel a little guilty, just tell him, you know what? I learned an incredible lesson from you, and I'll help other people with that. All righty? But he was ready. Okay, Doug?
Thank you.
You okay, Pena?
Pena, thank you for calling and sharing your story. That I know a lot of people feel that way, the same way. So.
It's hard. Very, very hard thing to go through.
It is hard. Thank you.
All right, you take care, okay?
Okay.
All right, it's 8:40 right now, and we'll be right back at my 94.1. I have to lighten it up just a little bit here.
That's good.
We've all been crying through the commercial break.
Thank God for the My 94.1 Kleenex.
About Pena. Wow. So we have Samantha Khury, the pet psychic, is on today, and just world-renowned, has a one-day seminar coming up tomorrow. And Samantha, what the numbers? Do you know the numbers by heart if they wanted to call? Because we can get.
I got them right here.
Okay, what are the numbers if you wanted to call to get in the seminar for tomorrow?
Well, Samantha, give your number, and I'll pull this
310-374-6812.
Now, what do people bring tomorrow? What they're
going to bring is a photograph, one problem that they want to get solved.
Okay.
You know, they don't want to be a pet psychic.
Right, exactly.
They just want to fix this problem.
Sure.
Their lunch and a folding chair, because we'll spend part of the time outside.
Okay.
It's a fun seminar. It was designed so that you didn't need to drop your dog off at the pound or tie him up or beat him or do all the things that it's doing when one has problems with dogs and cats.
And how long is the seminar? It starts when?
It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And it goes until 4 in the afternoon. We take a lunch break.
Okay.
It's you get to see me in the morning working. There's a little sightings, shows a little 6-minute or 7-minute program, I think it is. And then I talk about how I do it and how to get the information to each of those animals, and then how to receive. And then we go and talk about the individual, what people are saying to their dog to solve the problem, and where the problems are in their communication.
And this has been one
fabulous.
of the most fascinating aspects of this to me, is like the thoughts that you think in your head and the visions that you have in your head, actually your animal picks up on it. And so really on the human side of the issue, to learn to train your mind a little bit different in dealing with your animal.
Yes.
Well, Sheila's number, now write this number down, 760-941-9912. If you want to participate in the one-day workshop. Now, you're having the one-day problem-solving for animals and pets on Saturday, and then for horses on Sunday.
Yeah, not this week. The horses is on the 13th.
On the 13th?
Yes.
Okay, and
the same kind of thing, but it's designed for, we work with what the problem is, and then they will change what you're doing and saying and feeling, and then in the afternoon you actually ride your horse and watch the differences. So if you have a jumping problem or there's something that's off with you and the horse, it gets fixed.
Now, and you have, a 30-year history of doing this, right?
Yes.
And I know you have so many stories of happy endings like we just saw with Cheryl and Bandit. And really, you have to really see it and witness it to believe it. And so if you have a serious problem with your pet, I
highly recommend
this is an alternative to solving a problem. A lot of people, instead of trying to solve the problem, they go ahead and they just get rid of their pet, give it back to the Humane Society, whatever. And
or the animal lives in fear, just like what would happen
with Dottie. Let's talk about Dottie. Dottie and Paula is here. Paula, let's talk about Dottie. You have Dottie in your lap now.
Now, Paula, you have a controversial story, what happened with you and Dottie. So maybe just give the overview of what happened.
Okay, Dottie went through a snake break training, and she had a high voltage shock done to her twice. And ever since then, she is afraid of every new place we go, every people, all the people, and her tail's down, and she's a dog who is so confident that her tail's always up and she's always happy.
Well, now, how long ago did this happen?
6 weeks.
Okay.
And so we visited with Samantha yesterday.
And Dottie goes through, you have her in agility,
flyball agility, a bunch of performance sports.
And what was the difference in her training with that after the rattlesnake training?
After that, she was afraid. She wouldn't do anything, and when we'd be at the flyball field or agility field, she was very shut down. Her tail would be down. She was scared.
So, Samantha, what did Dottie tell you yesterday?
Well, when Dottie walked into the room, the first thing was she was looking all around and kind of like backing up, like expecting that the piece of furniture or the floor or the walls or a person or something was going to hurt her body. And it was a guarantee that she was going to be in an enormous amount of pain. And the pain would shoot down the spine, and I could feel the part where she expected it to exit. And the terror that she was in was unbelievable. It felt like I wanted to go into a shell and back up into a corner, and I wouldn't even trust the darn corner. It's like life would not be safe in any way.
Right.
So that's the condition she was.
And so how would you characterize the trauma she experienced?
Well, if we had bit down an electrical cord and watched herself get fried.
Wow.
That's kind of like what would happen.
Wow.
So it was severe.
It was severe.
Now, what were the things that you told?
And she didn't know what created it. That was even bigger.
So that makes it very scary.
It makes it very scary.
So she'd ever make the connection between the rattlesnake and the shock?
I don't know if not in the training at all. And when you took the dog, no, because from my conversation with her, it never made an equation that if I get near a snake, that I'm going to get this kind of a reaction.
She just thought if she got near anything, she'd get the shock at any time and any moment.
Right.
So what did you tell?
Not trusting men, especially.
Real, because it was the guys that did it.
Yeah, and even didn't particularly very cautious with females. Very, because you never know how it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
It's guaranteed it's going to happen, but you don't know when.
So it's this big horrible thing looming above Dottie.
Yes.
So what did you tell Dottie?
Well, the first thing that I had to do is I had Dottie come up on my lap when she left, and then I just put my hand kind of quietly on her, and I just talked to her that the room was safe, and that whatever it was, because I didn't even register that it was a snake training thing until I looked at Dottie's card, and at the bottom it said snake training. So she's on my lap, and I'm not aware of it at first. And I thought, honey, your body feels like you've been electrocuted, and we're just going to fix this spine. And so I'm just working with the spine, I'm rubbing it. And telling her it's going to be okay. And I'm getting these flashes of the expectation. And then it was like somebody turning my head to look at the card, and I went, snake. Okay, now I know what's going on. And then, so that's when I started to tell her that she would never, ever see that place again, never, ever, ever see those people again. And then I had to start telling her what she could do, and then just help remove the fear. There wasn't a whole lot of visions coming back and forth at that point because there was so much fear coming out of the body. She was on my lap and her legs were shaking and her whole body was just going through like a little tremor as I was keep rubbing the body, working with the spine. I always believe that when you have a major trauma, if you think about how much you love an animal and that love flowing down your arm and making a glove of love, where your love is coming out your fingers, and your fingers next, I put my fingers next to her spine and just let love go into the nervous system, because the nervous system was in such a state of shock, physical and emotional shock. And so I was just quieting and healing as much as I could that, and acknowledge, okay, so you have pain going, I can feel that pain. Okay, we're going to move that. And then each time it would come up, then I would tell her, you know, you're so smart. Now, at this point, I'm saying it, seeing it, I am the dog. I am the dog. And so I feel like I'm Dottie, and I can feel fear coming up. And I said, Dottie, if you look way over in the corner, and if there was a snake over in that corner, all you'd need to do is walk the other way. That's it. You're so good at seeing everything. You can see to the right of you, you can see to the left of you, you can hear everything around you, and you can either get up on something or walk away. Now, when I did that, she started to tell me about, that's when the communication opened. She starts talking about the hill was this rocky hill was the problem. And she's and also I got it clear on what her understanding of the training was. She thought that she had to go there. This was really intense.
I know Paula feels so bad about this part.
She believed that she had to go through that because she was too dynamic, too energetic. She talks about flying off the furniture and having to be first at the door, and she's been a very dynamic dog. So
how does that part make you feel, Paula?
Oh, horrible.
Take the knife out of my heart,
yeah,
right?
really, because I love how spirited she is. We all love that. And that's what we missed about her after the shock.
And mainly you put her through the rattlesnake training because you thought you were afraid for her.
I thought she'd get bit and we'd lose her.
So, Paula, now I can tell you this, that when we came back in after Samantha had Dottie for about an hour and 10 minutes, we came back in and her tail was up.
We had not seen her tail up when we first met Dottie.
Not
her
ever.
tail was like glued to her butt.
Yes.
So her tail